all my seniors applying for college.
So this is one thing I really wish I did. Now some of them do require additional essays, but there's so many people who, you know, the ultimate goal, like because money matters. So you can always switch and transfer later. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Yolanda and welcome to Unfiltered Me. So for today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys what I wish I knew before I started applying for college. Now mind you, last year this time I was a senior in high school and I had this whole plan in the summer to apply to colleges, start my essays, and I never did. But here are some tips that, you know, I wish that I implemented and started early on thinking about that might be helpful for you guys out there. And so this is to my juniors and seniors in high school, or even freshmen and sophomores if you want to get early on with this. So if you guys are interested, please be sure you give it a huge thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe down below. Make sure to turn on post notifications to be notified when I post. If I already, let's get on to this video. Okay, so starting with number one, we have applying everywhere, and especially if it's free. Now if you guys don't know already, I live in the state of Georgia, and I don't know if this is like statewide, but I'm pretty sure it must be. But we have this program called Georgia Match or whatever, but basically the state has like these free waivers that is used only for, I believe, in-state students. But see if your guys' local, you know, area has something that's similar to this. But it's like this waiver, and you can, and now it's not every school in Georgia, but it's most schools in Georgia where you can apply to without any fee. This is one thing I really wish I did. I only did it to schools that I was interested in, but I feel like it's important just to literally, like, if you have the time and it's literally free, might as well. And for the most part, a lot of the colleges, you just have to like literally like submit it and you'll be good, because your essays and stuff would already like 2 or 3 essays, I forgot how much it is, but it's like something in that range that you need and that you can use for all of them. Now some of them do require additional essays, but for the most part it's just the ones that you already have. There's a app that we use and it made the application process much more easier, and I believe most schools use that platform now to apply for college. I think it's really important, and let me tell you, like, even right now, like, there's a lot of people that I knew literally up to June and July who are still deciding on what college to go to. And there's a lot of people that just generally, like, and I'm not even kidding, there's so many people who made last minute switches. And when you're in that position and reconsidering the place that you thought for months that you're gonna go to, you want to have the options available. And for a lot of schools, there's the deadlines, I mean, honestly, for most of them, and you don't want to have to face the late registration fees, or even worse, not be able to apply for the school because it's like totally done for them. And it's just a lot more easier, and especially if it's free, like, you have no excuse if you ever put in the position to not know where you're gonna go, because there is some place for everyone. And I think you should really open up your options. But a way to really like help narrow it, for sure, like, apply everywhere, right? But I think 3 things to consider is finding it's supposed to be reach, target, and then safety schools. So your safety school is like one of the schools where if you don't get into like your target school, which is like, you know, the ultimate goal, like your maybe your dream school or like whatever, then you have like that safety net to go to. And then your reach school is like the one where it's just like, it's your reach is like your Ivy Leagues or whatever. There's like percentages to this, like 25% and below acceptance rates type ones. Even if you don't think that you can get in, I think you should still try, because you never know. I think the college application process and everything, I just think it's a lottery, to be honest, at this point. And just try, you never know. Have a little bit of faith in yourself though too in this process, that like you are worthy and just as good as any other student to get into whatever school it may be. Number 2 is apply early, okay? And I get it, once again, like, it's just the beginning of the school year, but like, if you have somewhat of an idea and this is that, I'm not saying do early action or early decision, but like, at least when regular decision comes, like, that like time frame, like start applying everywhere, y'all, because money matters. The earlier you do it, the more money you get. Y'all, I did not realize how expensive college was until I actually had to pay my bills and stuff 3 weeks ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, like it's a lot. And I think that's something I never really considered as much until literally December or January of my senior year, and I was like, I can't actually afford that. And it's okay to not be able to afford it. I think the whole money scheme in general of college is just really dumb, because it's just like, how am I gonna pay like 60,000 literally to get this piece of paper? And I know it's valuable, right? And it's like, you know, it's a degree essentially, and eventually it'll be like paid off. Now, you know, I do have a friend who says the theory, like, sometimes it's okay to go, you know, in debt because it's eventually going to be paid off. But at the end of the day, it is debt, and it's just like, if you can avoid it at, you know, in some cost, then, you know. But like, also I think it's a really good idea if you do have a dream school. Like, let's say for me, I wanted to go to like HBCU. All of the HBCUs are so expensive, or just private school in general are expensive. There's a lot of expensive schools out there. You do not have to start out somewhere. You can always switch and transfer later, and always go to like a university or community school for 4 years, or just even 2 years, and then transfer and do like the last years, and you still get the experience. Maybe it's not for that long time that you'd hope for, but you still get that experience. But not breaking a bank and literally like going in debt for years for, because I have talked to many adults where they're just like, yeah, like I'm still paying it off, and I just refuse to be in that position. Like, I'm really trying to, like, you know, keep it on a budget here, but still like go to a good school, if that makes sense. Number 3 is location. I never realized how much this mattered, but like, you need to prioritize the kind of place you're going to. I think that's so important. And like, I'm not trying to like in any way bash my school, but one con, like, I love a lot of things about it, but one con I will admit, it was such a hard transition, especially in the beginning, because if y'all saw my previous videos, I have a car, but now I don't have a car anymore, and so like I have to walk everywhere, which is fine, you know, we're not getting no freshman 15 over here, but it's just annoying. A lot of things are lengthways. Now luckily we got a bus that goes to like this little area, so it's like there's Crumble Cookies, Little Caesars, even a Publix and Chick-fil-A that is nearby. But at the same time, like, if you want to get to actual good stores, it's like 10-12 minutes of a drive, which isn't terrible, but like, I don't know, like, I'm just so used to like being able to walk out my house and like, oh yeah, like the nearest Target or Kroger or Walmart, like everything being like, I lived like, I think it's called suburban. I feel like I'm in a rural area now, which is fine. It's different, and you know, change is good, but I just think that you really need to look into, like, if you are a city person, go to the city. If you're a rural person and you do not like all the noise, all the chaos, all the parties, go to a rural area, because just the transition, it's just overwhelming the first week and all. And like, yeah, you can always acclimate and everything though to it. I think that there's some non-negotiables, especially, you know, how do you want your experience to be like, and just like in a way I feel like it's important, like you have to like also not only like, is it good for the academics and for like just like whatever else it may be, but also the location. Like, you want to like actually like tolerate the area and actually be pleasant, because you know, I even talked to somebody, they're like on the opposite side of the US, and they go to the school and it's like a nice big school, but there's just like nothing, like literally nothing around there. And all the time, I remember last year, you know, would always call up and would just be like, oh my gosh, like there's just nothing to do around there. And it's because we were from such like a very like urban area, like a lot of things were going on, there was always something, and the transition, it was just hard. And I don't think they even like it still to this day, and this is a year after the fact. So really, you know, really make sure the location you're staying at, you can tolerate. Like, if there's no school, or if it's the weekend, that there would be things that you would like to do. And maybe this is more for people that like to go out and stuff like that, but I just think location does matter. And I guess another story is, I have like another friend, and it's like the school they go to, there's like actually absolutely nothing, like absolutely nothing. I looked on the map with them and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, and I thought that like our area has stuff, and like I still go places, so it's like, you know, tolerable. and all, but like they actually had nothing, and I was like literally praying for you. And so, because once again, just like the shift, it's just weird. Going on to number 4 is application. So when you're actually applying, be yourself. I've heard most success from people has been the ones who have been vulnerable, and I think that's just so important, is to really just show yourself. And at the end of the day, like, I know there's a lot of people, you know, like that pay for programs and stuff, and I know like pressure of parents and all of that can be a factor into like why somebody might have like a college counselor to help like with that process or whatever. But like I think at the end of the day, if that school, like if it's really meant to be, and in the spiritual outlet too, if it's really in God's will for you to be at that place, it'll all work out. You will be like, you know, you will like be accepted, and you will go to that school and everything like that. But I think also part of the process is realizing that like maybe, you know, if you do apply and everything, then you put in all this work, and if they still reject you, that it is a redirection of life. This is quoted by whoever, but it's one of my best quotes that I like low-key live by, that like rejection is redirection, and if they rejected you, it is okay. It's not the end of the world. At the end of the day, literally, people that go to Harvard versus, let's say, my school, Georgia Southern, we can both literally do the same job. Now I get it, better references maybe, and like the fact of like the name, but also if you haven't seen in the media recently, there's a lot of people that do go to those type schools and all, and I'm not trying to categorize everybody and say, oh my gosh, these people are like actually like unhappy with their lives and X, Y, and Z, but there is a lot out there, and I know it can happen at my school and stuff like that too, but like we do see a lot in the media that like a lot of people that go to these high schools do like these really difficult majors and programs like that, who are really like struggling, and it's just like because of the pressure and the workload and just like a lot of other external factors. And sometimes, you know, I feel like if I was accepted into like, let's say, a school like Harvard, I wouldn't go because first of all, I don't have the stats to even go, but that's just kind of also not the experience that I want to have. Also, the money is a lot, especially when you guys are getting the same degree for doing the same thing. But yes, like I just think that overall, like, it's important to be original, and there's a lot of people that, you know, try and go to these huge schools. Like I know for me over here, it's like UGA, Georgia Tech, University of Michigan, and just like FSU, University of Florida, all this stuff. It's okay if you don't make it in, you know, and just be yourself, give what you got, and if it doesn't work, there is a place for everyone. And honestly, especially for the people that live in my area, not everybody can go to a UGA, okay? And that's okay. It's okay to go to your community college. Not gonna lie, I used to be like, oh my gosh, like everybody's going there, but honestly, if you can save it back, if you can save yourself from debt, I think that's a flex itself, rather than going to a huge school, taking out all these loans, and just being stressed out all the time about how am I gonna pay this, even though yes, one day it's gonna all work out, that part, but it's just like still the stress and the idea of it just does not sound appealing to me. But number 5 is for my athletes. So application process with this, my best advice is, of course, going where the money goes though too, but it's also important, you know, to reach out to coaches, even for schools that, you know, yeah, there's really fast runners. I think the same approach that I made about the first point for this video is reach out to everywhere. I probably like contacted like 30 plus coaches literally, and a lot of them I didn't get responses for. A lot of them I did get. There's a portion of people I did get responses from, a portion that I got responses with like, you know, time standards and I didn't meet it, but I was close to. And then a lot of people that are just like, yeah, you know, let me see what you got. Okay, so my battery's gonna die, but don't limit yourself. Reach out to all the coaches, all those schools that you think are appealing. And at the end of the day, just know being a student athlete is a lot. And I will be making videos about this in the future. Nothing negative, but to just give you like the reality of it, and just like how my experience has been like the past like 2-3 weeks. Just know, I think my huge takeaway I wanted to say for this is know that like you got time, you know. For me, it was like a time crunch with at least one coach I had. Some of them are lax about it, but just know you have time, especially if there isn't. Now sometimes they won't really tell you, but like I would ask a bit to know like how many other people they're recruiting, especially if they're not really looking. Like they tell you, yeah, I've had a few schools that tell me like, yeah, like, you know, we're looking at these other people and you only got this certain amount of time. You have time. They want you to be there at your school, especially if you look at the roster and you run a fast time, faster than even the girls that even go there. Like, you have time. And I think that's something huge I was stressed about, because there was a school that I never had a dream school once again, but like it was one of the initial ones that I looked at and I wanted to go there, but I didn't have a high enough ACT score. And I remember I was just like stressing with my coach. I was like, the results come out in 2 weeks and he wants an answer within like 2 days or whatever, and yada yada yada. And I just think it just like adds so much stress. And I get their intentions behind it, but like also realistically you have time and they're gonna have extra money. Now it's different if like, you know, for sure and like let's say you go on a recruit visit and it's like a whole bunch, like 20 girls, yeah, maybe there's a time crunch with that. But for the most part, and what my coach told me, like, you know, like it's okay, like, and you should be able to like really decide and have that time and really look at your options. Now there's comes a time point where it is a bit late, like April, May is like oof, but it's like you still even got time then, because I know people that signed literally in the summer. So yeah, either way, this is the end of the video. It's about to lose all my minutes, but I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. Peace is already at.